Okay. Welcome to the Intern Whisperer Live, the show all about internships and how to survive them. This is Val.
This is Isabella.
And this is Jerron.
On our show this evening, it is just going to be us, but maybe we'll have a surprise pop in later. But without further ado, this episode we'll be talking about entrepreneurship stories, great leaders, and the coolest innovations in our area.
So, our social plugs. We're going out of sequence, listeners, so just be patient with us. We're just totally going out of sequence. Anyway, social plugs. So, you can find Pivot Business Consulting on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. You can find Intern Pursuit on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also LinkedIn. I don't know. I think I said that 4 times. The game page, you can find Intern Pursuit Game on Facebook and Twitter. And you can listen to us live on mixlr.com/Valencia College Radio. You got to follow it, people. And then look for Intern Pursuit. I know it's a lot of steps, but it's so worth it. So go ahead and follow us on the MixLR station, and you can watch us live on Intern Pursuit's Facebook page. So we hope that our numbers are growing.
But before we start the show, let's talk about our first sponsor, Florida Patient Association. Florida Patient Association, whose mission is to bring support and services to patients in the state of Florida. If you have not received the help and support you need from an injury in the healthcare industry, contact Florida Patient Association for guidance on your rights. Thank you, Florida Patient Association, for sponsoring the Intern Whisperer Live.
So I want to tell you guys what happened this weekend. So I met with University of Florida, and that was the capstone class, this MBA capstone class that another person, I don't know who, it was like a friend of a friend of a friend, that kind of a thing.
Same group from last week, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I actually met with them in person. So they came in to Starter Studio, and I gave them a tour, and they were just such a delight to work with. These are people that, they've been working a while, good 5 years in their jobs now. And at the end of it all, they said, man, I wish I was 21 and I could come back here and be doing this again. This sounds like this would be a great experience to work in this startup community. And I was really very honored by that. That was super cool. But they also said that they were really going to try very hard to help me get it onto the University of Florida campus. So I was real excited about that. We're counting down the days, and we are on 19 days until beta launch day. The podcast page is going to be going up this week, so that's exciting. And the Intern Pursuit blog page will be going up, too. So those are some major milestones. They are major milestones for me. I don't know about anyone else. But those are pretty cool, and then that will be able to help. The social media has already started promoting the software too. So, I'm really hoping that a lot of students will embrace it, because the goal is to have 750 to 1,000 students by the end of July. That's a big number, right?
That is a big number.
Yeah. And it requires going to the campuses and doing the tabling thing, like we were talking about last week. So I'm looking to see if I can get you two guys to go with me on UCF out there next week. I don't know what's involved, but I need you to find out how I get on the campus and if we have to pull a permit and what's required to do that. Do either of you know?
I actually did look into this because we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
So you can be on the free speech lawn if you want to without any permits.
On the free speech
the free
lawn?
speech lawn, yes. It's certain sections of the campus where anybody can go and table or do whatever you'd like to.
And you can put your own table up there? Or do you?
Yep. It's whatever you'd like to do.
Okay.
However, if you want to go to certain areas on campus, you have to reserve those times through the university.
Right, like things like Market Wednesday and everything, you would need permission for the university.
Yes.
And where do I go to do that?
I am not.
I think it's the Office of Student Involvement.
I also think so, but I'm not totally positive on that. I think.
Okay, so can you find that one out for me this week?
Sure thing. Look up where you need to go to get that reserved.
Yeah, and then if you can, we'll coordinate and figure out how we're going to, get onto the campus on the right days. But tomorrow I'm going to Rollins College. So the goal is to go and connect on the college, we're doing student videos actually about what do students want out of an internship. So we'll be on that campus. We will also be doing some surveys to complete the surveys. One of the groups from my UCFI court, they had 100 interviews. I did not hit the 100 mark. You
Dang.
know, so
Were we
I was
close?
like, no,
Oh.
I'm not. I had 49 students, and I had 28 employers. And I had said I wanted 100 of each, and they had 100 students that they interviewed. And I don't know how they did it, but they like poured it. And then they had this really great video of students and saying why in different languages, why they wanted that particular product. Because their market is students also. And it's like a study abroad summer trip thing. So it motivated me because I sat there and went, oh my goodness, you know, I've got like one more week here because I'm going to the state conference that's coming up. It's Wednesday through Friday, and it's the Florida Association of College and Employers. So I wanted to make sure that I got really good interviews there from academic partners. It's schools from the whole state, all over, attending. There are some employers there, so I'm going to be talking with them. But there's not going to be a lot of students, obviously. So tomorrow it's just going to Rollins, and we're going to focus on that and connecting with the people there to find out, like, when is their fall recruiting event, and then also what is, if they have tabling. I don't think Rollins College does it, honestly.
I'm not sure.
I would almost think any college would do tabling to some degree, but
I
don't
would
know.
agree, but
It obviously depends on different things. Like I don't know if they do for things, like even UCF. I don't know if they do things for like employers. Obviously, students for sure. That's why I said the Office of
Yeah.
Student Involvement
Yeah.
for UCF.
I see
but-
them do it here on this campus on Validity College. I know they do it at Seminole State. I think the clubs do it. I've
Right.
seen clubs do it at Rollins, but I've never seen anybody else. So that's what I'm going to be finding out tomorrow, how I can get engaged in there. So the goal is, people, to be able to do this once a week, once every day at a different campus. So that takes some finagling, you know, a little bit of juggling there. And, oh, we have a guest that's going to be coming into our show right now. So stay tuned. If you hear the door opening, that's what's going on. So this is pretty exciting. Drop-in guest. So here we go. And our guest is Hubert Swearine. Have a seat, Hubert. I was just updating everybody as to what we are doing here at, it's already on, so you're good. All you got to do is adjust it. I haven't seen you in a while.
Haven't seen you either.
I know, you got this beard thing going on.
Oh yeah, and I got the
And your
ear
hair,
thing.
yeah, look at your hair, yeah.
The last time I saw you, my hair was like an inch shorter.
I know.
I had no hair actually.
Yeah, you look totally different. Okay, enough of that. Back to this.
But nice to meet you, Hubert.
yeah, nice to
Yeah.
Nice to meet you
so
guys.
Val, Geron, yeah, this is Hubert.
Val,
Yeah,
Geron, all right.
yeah. So anyway, we were just discussing how I want to be able to go on the campus between now and end of July, so that I can recruit students to sign up, 750 to 1,000 by the end of July on the intern pursuit site.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal.
That sounds like a feasible goal.
Okay, I like that. I like that. And so we'll be able to switch gears in just a minute, because I know that things, you have no idea what we're going to talk about tonight.
Absolutely no idea.
Yeah. So I want you to know that it's nothing scary. First off, we're just going to talk about internships, you know, what it was like, because I know you've interned at a couple places. He's a Renaissance kind of guy, just so you guys know. I think I told you he has experience with video. He's done radio. He has radio voice, too. You can hear that. He also programs. He's on the art side. He's just like everything.
Which one's your favorite?
Yeah.
Which one? That's a
Sure.
tough question. It's really a tough question. I like what I do in the moment. So I think the best question would be, I get the best response would be, I am a technical artist, because I'm into art and I'm into technology.
And I'm pretty sure that someday I'm going to see him as a professor, too. So that's going to be one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
He's going for his master's.
Oh, you are. What are you
Yeah.
studying currently?
I was studying at Valencia. I was studying computer programming and analysis.
But you have a
And-
degree.
Yes, and I have a degree in mass communication and a minor in music. And I'm going to be starting grad school doing systems management, information systems. and eventually I may do philosophy.
Yeah.
Who knows?
He's got that whole
Big
left
aspiration.
brain,
Like,
right brain.
why stop it all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, why stop?
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
stop?
Yeah, philosophy's not a big deal for him either. He waxes philosophic very much. So that's pretty cool. So how he and I met was at a career event here in Valencia too. And
Yep,
so
that's
yeah, I hate to monopolize you. If you want to share, you can. But
No, go ahead. I'll chip in when you say, "Hey, Hubert, chip in."
so yeah, we met at a career fair. He was wearing a big bow tie, and that already set him apart from everybody else. Not big, not like clown, but it's colorful, and it was really nice. I enjoyed speaking with him, and I went, wow, this is somebody that understands the art side, and he gets the programming side. And we just started talking, and I knew that I wanted to be able to work with him, and obviously I think it was mutual. So he and I have worked together for about a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the strange thing is that I met Isabella before, but she didn't know. I remember that red logo, and that red logo was quite unique. I remember looking at it and I thought, how was that designed? And then I remember Isabella. And after that, meeting Isabella again, it was quite an experience. She was intelligent. She was very warm and welcoming, and those were the qualities I was kind of looking for in a potential employer / intern employer. And Isabella had a product. She had an idea, and that idea seemed to fit what I wanted to do. And Isabella decided she would take a chance on me. I know she doesn't believe in chance. She believes in faith,
Faith, yeah.
that everything happens for a reason. And I do
Yes.
believe that my being there on that day, meeting you again, and having developed this professional relationship. And we're friends because you came over once to
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. I
Yeah.
invited you to Thanksgiving and you came,
I
right?
had Thanksgiving with him and his adoptive kind of family, friend family. So
Yeah.
that was really cool.
So that was good, and I really developed quite a lot under Isabella's guidance on doing her product, working with the team. It was good, and I'm actually. Do you want me to go ahead and say I'm employed now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Talk
So-
about where you're working,
so-
what you got.
So I'm employed now. My title is a software developer, and it's in part because of the internship at Intern Pursuit, where I learned some fundamental aspects of software development. So software development you can design in so many different languages, but there are some core principles that you follow when you're designing a software product, software product. And I got the foundations from there, and I used the little that I learned. Well, it was a lot because I didn't know half of what I ended up knowing before I started with Isabella. And I used that in the interview where I'm working now, and that catapulted me into the position. And it's been going well. It's been going well. I had my first review last week Friday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, on the job interview, and it was good, and I got a salary increase.
Oh,
Yay.
congratulations.
So all of that was because Isabella saw something and decided to take a chance. And again, it's not chance. I use that word frivolously, but she decided to take a chance.
I invested in you.
She invested in me. She
I
believed
invested in
in me,
you.
and that ended up manifesting itself in a career. Hopefully, it will grow, and it will be growing. And for all those who are listening, it takes a lot of time and effort, and that willingness to say, "Hey, I want to learn this." The frustrations will come. You'll feel like you probably made a mistake in choosing this, and you're probably wondering why. But the good parts of learning is after the challenges come.
Yeah.
And
Solving
Intern
problems.
Pursuit was a challenge.
Yeah.
Intern Pursuit had its challenges, but I think because of those things, I am nowhere near where I really want to be. but I'm a little closer to it because of those challenges. So thanks.
No, you're welcome. So it's kind of like what we were talking about before the show started, right? The word intern gives more mercy and grace than you can ever imagine because there's a learning curve. Out of the learning curve. And some of what he's discussing is that I didn't have a mentor in place at the time. And so they were a very, I think, thoughtful team because they tried to figure out the problems on their own. But then we got a mentor in place and things were moving along better. We have another programmer there that's able to give feedback and do code review, and now it's more of a workflow. It's in this workflow. So you never know. Me, as on the employer side, I'm not a programmer, but you don't know what you don't know, and you have to be open to always going, wow, okay, I need this and this and this to be able to make something happen. And it's the same whether you're an intern, whether you're 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever experience you have, it's continuous learning, right?
Continuous learning. And we sometimes I think there's a mindset about what an internship should be. An internship, yes, you can get paid, but if your sole focus is getting paid on that internship, I think you're probably missing the big picture.
The real value.
The real value. The real value is perhaps not the money that you can get from the internship. I mean, that's cherry on the cake right there, that's good if you can get that. But the real value is the experience
solving
the problems, getting that real world experience, and then transferring that into after you leave that internship, results. And employers love that. Employers see that you may not know something at the moment, but then there's a Chinese proverb that says, "He who knows not and knows he knows not, he's a child, teach him." And if you demonstrate that you don't know but you're willing to know, employers love that, I find. And it's good to enter an internship like a babe, like a child, wanting to learn, and then always being hungry for that experience and that knowledge, and let it transfer into solving problems and into your next job.
So I don't know if you want to say where you're working. Do they?
Oh, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
I work at.
Let's give them a shout out.
Oh, I'm shouting out High Tech Dealer Services, and I'm shouting out Kyle, who's my supervisor. He's a very cool guy, and Victor, he's the IT coordinator there. They're very small. It's a small company. I think that's what you call a small company. It has over 100 employees.
No, that's medium size.
A medium size.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
it's a medium-sized company, and it's been in existence for about 30 years.
Wow, that's not the Victor that we know, is it?
No, it's a different Victor.
Just by chance, okay.
Victor, yeah. So, it's I'm shouting them out because they've groomed me. The challenges that I faced there, oh my goodness! At one point, I was thinking, man, I'm such an imposter. They hired the wrong person, right? I'm not going to know how to do this. React, .NET, SQL, all those things. And they're going to find me out sooner or later, and they're going to just fire me. But you know what happened? And that's why I'm really grateful for them right now. They realized that I didn't know, and they were willing to allow me to grow. Of course, they would stay forever, and say, hey, you can take all the time in the world and learn as slowly as you can. No, of course, they wouldn't do that because you have to give them value, But they said, okay, we realize that you're learning and you demonstrate that willingness to learn.
Yes.
And I'm grateful for them for allowing me to grow in that capacity as a developer. So
he's like this now, guys.
Yeah.
No. I'm not like this. I'm still.
He's on his way to being like that.
Yeah, he will be. He will be.
So did you verbally tell them that you kind of felt like that imposter syndrome, or did they get that vibe and they kind of picked up on it themselves?
No, actually, Google told me I had imposter syndrome.
For real? It uses those words?
Yes.
For real?
Yeah, it's a syndrome.
It's a real thing, imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome.
It's like, wow, I got this, but I really shouldn't be in this position. Or I shouldn't be where I'm at right now.
Right. And I didn't realize that, but I was freaking out. And because of that, no, I didn't tell them. I did not tell them. I faked it. So fake it until you make it, that kind of thing. But it so happened, thank God, that I faked it well enough and I was hungry enough And, this was around the time when sleep was optional because, you go home and everything you don't know, you make sure that you try during the night when you go home, learn as much as you can. But don't burn out yourself because there's a thing called burnout. That's a real thing. As much as imposter syndrome is real, a burnout is real.
I'm going to look this imposter syndrome
Yeah,
thing up because
look
what do
it
you
up.
do? You get an email, you're an imposter?
Well, it's more like you just feel like
Yeah.
you've
Yeah.
done something that you're not supposed to have,
Yeah.
which is interesting because we were just talking about burnout
Yeah.
before the show as well, and how
Oh,
it's
yeah,
so
how many
easy.
things you can put on your plate and what you can
Yeah.
handle
Yeah.
and what you
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah, that's true. Because at that time, I was trying to be a software developer. They didn't hire me as a junior. Well, yeah, in ways that are tangible, I was a junior developer. But I was. They were looking for results,
Yeah.
and in my mind, I was thinking, man, they got the wrong guy. I wonder when they're going to figure that out, And but not sleepless nights, like 2 hours, 3 hours, for a little while, and then it started to click, And for anyone who's going on an internship, I would say be patient with yourself. Give yourself time to learn, to adapt, because you're not just learning the technicalities of your job. You're integrating in a culture. You're integrating into how they do something. So you may have learned it a certain way at school, but you're integrating into their culture, their way of doing it, and all the technical knowledge that you have. And guess what? Half of the times, or most of the times, you'll only be using a half or a third of your school knowledge. It's important to have the foundations, but give yourself enough time to integrate in the culture that you're going to be in, because they have been doing this a while and they have their way of doing it, and that's what they want, for you to be able to adapt and show result within that culture. So give yourself some time. Don't be too hard on yourself, because you'll burn out and then you'll be an imposter. You feel like you're an imposter, and then more than that, you'll start acting the part, and then you'll just give up.
Yeah.
If you're not mentally strong, you'll just give up. So give yourself some time.
How do you think you were able to overcome that mindset yourself?
Sleepless nights.
That helped you.
No. I'm kidding. But I think I had a good supervisor. He's not there right now, but he was like the first project I got to complete. It took me about 3 weeks to do it. Something that should probably take a week. It took me about 3 weeks to do. And I said to myself, "Oh yes, this is gonna get me fired." But he was patient enough. He was patient enough to say, "Hubert, okay, this is kind of how you do." He gave me some advice. This is kind of how you do something, and he was saying, "All right, cool." And then he gave me a book to read. The book is called like Clean Coding or something like that. And then I read it. I read like about a page or two, and it opened my mind to what clean code or proper coding was. And his feedback was enough to help me to realize that I was progressing, because I was making less and less mistakes. He had to correct my stuff less and less. And at one point, I realized that he was a bit frustrated, but then he wasn't as frustrated after a while. And those things kind of gave me confidence, seeing that I'm not where I started. I may not be where I want to be, but I'm definitely not where I started. And I started to think, okay, I may not be such an imposter. I may just be someone who just needs to learn a little bit more. And I started to overcome that.
I think it's great advice that you just sometimes need to take time to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Because also when you even now, if you switch companies at some point, not saying that you want to or anything, but if you did, that entire employee culture is going to change again, and you might have to readapt to their setting.
You absolutely do.
Yeah.
I agree. And that's one of the things when I talk with employers, I tell them, I said, you're expecting somebody that's coming in, that's a student, that doesn't know your industry, that doesn't know your company, that doesn't understand your culture, doesn't know how to talk with people across other departments, and then they have to learn the product and also the job. That's a lot to have going on. So there's on the employer side, we want to see a fast curve going on when you're coming in and you capture it and you're not afraid to make suggestions and try and not go, oh, do they think I'm stupid, or whatever it is that goes through our head, or I'm going to get fired. Like, how hard is it to get fired from an internship? It does. It happens. But the thing is communication is key. Wouldn't you agree? We were having this discussion earlier, right? Communication is key. So always saying, well, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm seeing, or whatever, however you want to position it. So talking.
Yeah,
it's good.
It is important. I know it's extremely important because, like recently, they were probably looking for at some point they were looking for another developer, and I got a chance to help edit or look over the job description that they were going to send out. I think that was a privilege. They trust me enough to look it over. That was mind blowing. But they did that, and one of the things that I saw that they emphasized was good communication, being able to interact with your employer, your coworkers, and your supervisors, and communicate whatever problems you have or successes, or just being able to help. And they really emphasized that while they were looking for an employer, an employee, full-time employee. So the same would be important if you were an intern there.
Yes.
They will be expecting that you don't know, and that you should say that you don't know. Don't pretend that you do, and then you mess up, and then that's when you say, "Oh, because I didn't know." No. It's not. You are not stupid for not knowing. You just don't know. Ignorance. Everyone experiences ignorance. Everyone doesn't know.
You know
at
what?
some
I
point.
think a really good way to handle that is be able to go into the employer and say, hey, I don't know how you do things here. Would you show me how you do things? Or I don't understand what this is. I want to make sure I'm on the same definition page as to whatever this word means, right? If we're talking about workflow, what does workflow mean to that employer? So then no matter which employer we're working with, it could be employer 2, it could be employer 10 in our life plan, but we're communicating in a way that's showing that we want to understand the other person, not just them understand us.
I think it's a big point, is that asking. I think a lot of people are very afraid to ask questions because you don't want to be a nuisance and don't want to show that you don't know what you're talking about. But it's important to ask questions because you'll never actually learn until you make that mistake already, and often that's worse than just clarifying it for yourself on the first time around.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, I'm just coming from the gym, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things I learned about building muscles is that the only way you build muscles is by tearing it up.
I gave them this, and I actually had gotten this from Aaron, but you and I have talked about this before. It's like you're lifting weights, and I was just saying that to them today.
You're the perfect guest for today, I have to say.
Every topic.
Perfect.
This is just like a continuation of the conversation we were just
Are
having.
you sure you weren't already in the room?
Yeah, you were like listening to us. But go ahead, finish your idea, because our listeners don't know what you're talking about.
In order to build muscle, you lift the weights, but it's not just lifting anything light that doesn't challenge you. It's about lifting heavy weights. You disturb the muscle fibers, you tear it, you basically break it, you fail basically, and then those tendons, those muscles, those fibers get thicker. They get more resilient. And then you see the muscle growing, and that's how I think about it as like you're on the job. It's just like training your muscles. You tear it up, and then you by tearing it up, by failing, by doing all those things, then you get the knowledge. Oh, this is what I shouldn't do. This is what I can do better next time, and then you grow from there. Your experience is like that muscle fiber that becomes thicker, that becomes more resilient. And you just get more buff in your job and everything like that. So
it instills confidence. It's really the confidence that is getting bigger, and we have to make sure it doesn't translate into our brain and into something that's more prideful. Yeah. So keeping humility in place, keeping confidence in check, all of those things are really good qualities to remember.
I guess going off that, you just have to develop that discipline to keep coming
Yeah.
back, so you can keep learning and keep being honest with yourself and keep gaining
Yeah.
that confidence. So,
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. I'm trying to make sure I update the show notes appropriately. So I put the book in there, Clean Code, the book. And then, but I didn't catch the employer's name, so I want to make sure, because it's what I learned and what I didn't know. And that's what
Okay.
you were sharing with us. So
You found the book?
I did.
Yeah.
I'll show it to you.
It's
It
a
should be
pretty
this
cool
one,
book.
right?
Yeah. Clean. Right. Clean code.
Very good.
Yeah, it's one of the holy grails in software development. from
So
what I've been told.
who's the employer? And I'll look up their link and I'll put that in the show notes.
High Tech Dealer Services.
High Tech Dealer Service.
HYTEC. HYTEC.
This should be it. No?
Yes, hightechrepair.com.
That's it?
That's it.
Awesome. Okay. I'll put those in those show notes, and we'll make sure that we acknowledge them when we're talking about them in social.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty cool for them. Okay, so we're going to be finishing up by 1:15, just so you know. Great leaders. Who are some great leaders that have influenced your life, living, dead? You can have more than one. They can be people close to you or people you don't even know personally.
Well, one of them would be Dr. Hubert Thompson. Dr. Hubert Thompson, I'm from Jamaica. You may have heard the accent. I attended a university in Jamaica as well, and he was the president. Now, one of the lines I remember from Dr. Thompson was, "Get over it." That was one of his lines, get over it. And he was a very charismatic person. He was very influential in the Jamaican education landscape. But to me personally, he was an inspiration because while he was very prominent in Jamaica, everyone knew Dr. Thompson. He knew me by name, and he would call me by my first name whenever he saw me.
Wow.
And that showed me that you can reach any pinnacle you want to reach, but then it's always good to know your roots, where you're coming from, connect with people on a real, in a very real way. And he was coming from nothing, had to walk to school. He wrote this book, Rural Gumption, because he was a country boy and he's sleeping in the old shack and zinc roofs and all that stuff. But he made it so that he was the president of the university, and he brought the university from, say, 1,000 students to thousands of students under his leadership. And he was a very inspirational person to me. When I was at university, he made a rule that as a communication student, if you didn't speak properly on campus, you're going to be expelled.
Oh, no.
And that
What does that mean, speak properly? What does that mean?
it meant you had to speak proper English, because
None of the street talk.
Right, none of the street talk. English is our first language in Jamaica, but we have what we call patois, and it's very, very broken English, right? And he said, if you're a communication student, you need to speak properly. And if anything goes wrong and you don't have food or you don't have clothes or money or whatever, don't just sit there and cry. Get over it, And it meant to me that your situation should never stop you from reaching your full potential. This is just a bump in the road. However hard it is, however serious it may look, it is a bump in the road. And Dr. Thompson is just such an inspiration to me. And then it's my mom, the second person. Why? Yeah, she struggled and everything with me and everything like that. But when I was born, she had just started college, and then I came along, and then I messed all of that up. And she sacrificed until my sister and I finished college, and then she decided that she wanted to continue, and she went on and on and on, and she struggled and struggled and struggled. And she said she wanted something for herself, and when she was 50-something years old, she got her degree. After many, many years, she decided that I want this for me.
Yeah.
And that is very inspirational. It says to me that, stuff may come up in your life. You may have kids. You may, things may not work may have worked out the way you expected, but that doesn't mean that is the end of the world. And even if it takes 30 years, you can still pick yourself up and just move on and get it done, get over it, and get it done. And she's an inspiration to me as well. So those are two people that are inspirational.
And what's Dr. Thompson's first name?
Herbert.
Oh, not Hubert.
Not Hubert. And he used to make a joke of that. He used to say that his father called him Hubert.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what he used to say to me.
Wow, he's somebody. Is he still at the college? Is he?
No, he's not. I think he's living in Florida now.
You should find him.
South Florida, I think. Or he's probably still in Jamaica. He's between Florida and Jamaica.
Yeah, you should reach out to him, especially if he was in Florida. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I when I just started here, and I was deciding on what I needed to do, I called him up, and he was willing to take time out of his busy schedule and talk to me, and say, Hubert, what are you doing? When I was making some stupid mistakes, he said, Hubert, what are you doing? Come on, man, get over it. Move, do what you do, and he was a very matter-of-fact person. He was very blunt, but that he was only this straight with you because he didn't want to make it sound any less intense than it was, but he didn't want it to sound any more intense than it really was either. He wanted you to just know what it really was, and this is something that you can get over. Get over it.
I like that. Do we have any, because I can't see what our Facebook page looks like, do we have any guests that have logged in?
Well, since this is pre-recorded, we wouldn't.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
so.
Yeah, bummer. Okay.
But while we have a nice break, I would like to talk about our second sponsor.
Okay, that would be good.
Who is Affiliate Manager. Affiliate Manager offers a complete management service that covers all aspects of developing and optimizing an affiliate program from top to bottom. Not only do we provide expertise, identify high potential opportunities, and execute campaigns to maximize performance, we make it a point to require minimal work from our merchant partners. You can reach them at affiliatemanager.com. Thank you, Affiliate Manager, for sponsoring the Intern Whisperer Live.
So I know we're going to be wrapping up here. So, Hubert, what is the coolest thing in tech that you have seen? It can be something fun. It can be something that you encountered in the workplace. I mean, you shared about a really great book. I'm going to go and recommend that to the other people on the team.
A Tesla being launched in space.
For real?
Yeah, that's
Is that for real?
Oh, it's a thing. Yeah, Elon Musk did it.
He did it from Kennedy, actually.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
When was this?
this
Was
year.
this recent?
It was
Yeah,
this
this
year.
It was this year.
Oh,
this year.
no. Okay. Yeah. Then that was when he sent the ship up, the rocket
Yeah.
up.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the purpose of it being up there? I really didn't read. I
Because he
don't
can.
Because
Yeah.
it can.
Yeah.
know. Is it just like circling the Earth, or is it?
Uh,
Still there?
I,
guess.
I believe it's still up
I
there.
haven't thought about it, actually.
I don't know if it's in orbit. I don't.
I guess the reason it's cool, I'm just thinking about colonizing Mars one of these days, or people being
Is
able
it
to
on its
travel.
way to Mars? Is it going there to drive?
I'm
Or?
not sure if
I don't know
it's
if it has the
there,
right course.
yeah.
He's looking it up right
I'm not
now.
looking it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look it up.
Yeah,
Pretty sure it has like a
but-
space mannequin in there. I'm pretty sure,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
There's a
pretty
guy.
sure. Yeah.
But
It's
But-
there's like a man in the ship, but he's not a real man.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
but the other cool thing that happened was Google's AI, and they did a demo, and
Oh.
they called a
I
live
saw
person.
that. I saw it. Sounded like
and
a
it sounded
live
like a
person.
human, right?
Oh
the
my
person
God.
they called
gonna find that
random
one too.
restaurants and stuff, and they didn't know it was Google's AI that was talking with them.
Interesting.
It was
Yeah,
it was
I'm
true to
finding
life.
that link right
That was
now.
very
so yeah,
cool.
Google's AI sounds like a human on the phone, and oh my God, I'm gonna go and take this link. It's on YouTube, and it was amazing. It was so able to understand. It was the second call was speaking with somebody that wasn't that was not a they didn't speak English as their first language, and they were having the AI was able to totally understand. Well, yeah, I want it to be on June 1st.
Yeah.
June 1st.
Yeah.
And never got grumpy like people do. Like, I said June 1st. What do you mean?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It sounded natural, had all the verbal cues and imperfections and all that, the arms, the uhs, and the stuff like
Yeah.
that. It was all there, and Google said that they did that, put those things in. So to give time for the AI to process what is being said. Just like human beings, when they say they're thinking about it and processing it, they did that. The AI is contacting the web and formulating and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to recap, the Tesla was his personal car from 2008, and he launched it on the Falcon Heavy rocket, and it is departing on a trans-Mars injection heliocentric orbit.
Oh, wow.
It's
That's a
definitely-
mouthful.
That's
What
the
does that mean?
designation.
Yeah.
I
that's
believe that
like,
means
what does
a
that
big
mean?
rocket.
I
Yeah.
believe that means it's going towards Mars.
Yeah.
Okay.
How long does it take anything to get to Mars?
About 7 or 8.
A very long time.
Like
A
years?
couple months. A couple months.
You
actually.
can, you can do it in a lifetime. It depends on.
Well, he's saying months, and
I
you're
thought
saying
it
a
was
lifetime.
years.
I thought
No,
it depends on the kind of
actually,
rocket.
a
Yeah,
couple
maybe.
months.
Okay,
Yeah,
Google
a
it.
couple
Now we
months.
have to know how long does it take to get to Mars?
Yeah.
Yeah. See if you can find that one too.
I'm sorry, I love sci-fi stuff, so
He's probably right. About 300 days.
300.
Yeah.
That's a year.
Yeah,
About a year.
just
Yeah.
just under a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not months, but definitely less than a year. So
Yeah.
It's like
It also
10
depends on
months.
when you launch it, because I guess Mars is sometimes way closer than at other points.
yeah.
So
yeah, 10 months.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see
Interesting.
people on Mars in our lifetime.
Maybe. I would say yeah. I'm pretty sure we will.
Yeah, I'm young enough for that to happen.
Yeah. That would be amazing. Well, I know that it's our time. Is there anything else that we need to make announcements about? Oh, we need to give our shout outs, right?
Yes.
Okay. So can I go first, guys?
Of course.
Okay. So my shout outs are for the new people that have just joined Intern Pursuits team, Mary and Karina. They're front end. So they're going to be coming in here, and their job is to help get it ready for the beta launch on July 1st. It's also to Gonzalo and Ariel and everybody on that team, but the game team, giving all of my game team and my marketing team all big shout outs, and my HR. There's like too many names. I'm going to put them in the show notes is what I'm going to do, and just put it there. And on Facebook. I will do that today. So I want to say thank you to all those people.
Welcome, everyone.
Shout outs for you
No,
or any more?
I shout out to the people. Thank you to everyone. My church members who have been supportive, my friends who have been supportive, the family that was my family while I was here.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for being very supportive, and to High Tech for giving me that raise. That's pretty good. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Jerome.
Very good.
Of course, my usual shout outs to my family. My shout out to Isabella for having us even on the show to work it in
As
the first
always,
place.
it's a pleasure.
And a shout out to meeting you. It's a
Hey,
really great interview.
Yeah, that was
Nice
a great.
meeting
Thank you
you.
for having
Nice meeting you.
coming on the show. For me, just shout out to my family that's watching and all my friends that are listening in, and thank you, Isabella, for allowing us to have a great time on your show.
Yep. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. We're going to be concentrating on sales. We're going to be getting our first advertiser coming in.
Oh, that's
We're
good.
excited.
That's pretty cool.
All right. So do you want to close it like we started?
Yeah.
Okay. So this has been Val.
This has been Jerron.
This is Isabella.
And this is Hubert.
And thank you for listening to the Intern Whisperer Live. See you next time.